Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum dan selamat sejahtera. Inshallah today we're going to continue again our topic on socio-emotional development in early childhood development. Right? So emotional and personality development is the third development that we discuss after cognitive development as well as physical development. Alright, so this is the stage of early childhood. Early childhood, as we discussed before, the age of early childhood between 3 years old until 6 or preschool age. Okay, um, under emotional and personality development, there are one concept called the self of the early childhood. So, under this topic, the self, we're going to discuss this term, initiative versus guilt. So, what is initiative versus guilt? Children have become convinced that they are a person of their own. They begin to discover what kind of person they will become. So they are aware of themselves, so what they will be in the future. They identify intensely with their parents, who most of the time appear to them to be powerful and beautiful, although some unreasonable, disagreeable, and sometimes even dangerous. So for them, their parents are the most best person in any category. If in terms of look, their parents as the most beautiful, as the most handsome person. In terms of strength, they are the more tough peoples, the more powerful, the most reliable. So this is what they perceive in their world. They have a surplus of energy that permits them to forget failure quickly and to approach new areas that seems desirable. So they have an extra energy inside their body. Amen. And then they need place to release all this energy. That's why it's been encouraged at this particular stage of age, we need to expose them in physical activities. Let them expose outdoor. Do not let them stay at home in their room playing gadget game stuff with themselves, because the energy need to be released. Next, the kids who experience guilty tend to give up easily compared to initiative kids. So those children who have experience of guilt, so guilt usually they got it from their surroundings, the external factors, for example, peers, families, okay, neighbors, relatives. So this guilt, all right, actually have a tendency for the children to give up, surrender on doing things compared to children who are initiative kids. Initiative is the opposite of guilt children's. Guilds who give kids who are initiative understand that mistakes could actually help them to improve, and in opposite kids, they interpret it as a sense that they are being failure and bad. So those children who have a positive mindset, or we call it initiative children's, able to overcome the mistakes, and then they have this understanding that could help them or forget the mistake that they done, and then move to the next activities, or move to the next interaction or relationship. Okay, self-understanding and understanding of others. Macam mana kanak-kanak memahami diri sendiri dan juga memahami orang lain ataupun orang di sekeliling mereka. Self-understanding is the child's cognitive representation of self, the substances and the content of the child's self-conception. Self-understanding refer kepada proses kognitif ataupun kita panggil representation of cognitive, proses yang berlaku di dalam otak, dan ia adalah refleksi daripada proses yang berlaku di dalam otak. Means kanak-kanak memahami tentang diri mereka. So self-projection, self-image. Self-understanding involve self-recognition. In early childhood, young children think that the self can be described by many materials characteristics such as size, shape, and color. So, how do they describe themselves as they understand themselves or self-understanding? So, by comparing with something material, something can be seen, something tangible, something which can be comparable, such as size. They can differentiate between small size and big size, shape and colors. Okay, so they're able to understand themselves in terms of physical appearance compared to by making a comparison with other things. Next, in early childhood, children often provide self-description that involve body attributes, material possessions, and physical activities. So basically, they are able to describe self-description related to body attributes, physical possession, and physical activities. They're able to make a simple description of themselves by comparing with others. Okay, by comparing with something around them. Next example, a 4-year-old compare himself with another kid. I'm different from Hank because I'm taller, and I'm different from my sister because I have a bicycle. So I have a bicycle is comparing in terms of materials. Hank or Abu don't have car, I have car. Abu don't have beautiful bag, but I do have a beautiful bag, for example. Aisha have a bracelet, which I don't have a bracelet. So this is material comparison. I'm taller compared to Adam. I'm shorter. I'm bigger. I'm smaller. So this is a physical comparison, self-description about themselves and people surrounding. So that is in terms of materials as well as in terms of size or body attributes. Next, although the children mainly describe themselves in terms of concrete, observable features and action tendencies, at about 4 to 5 years of age, as they hear others use psychological trait and emotional terms, they begin to include these in their own self-description. So normally children describe themselves in terms of physical attribute or materials or physical activities. So, but whenever they reach at the age of 4 to 5 years, so as they hear other use physical, psychological traits and emotional terms, so they begin to include this in terms of psychology, in terms of emotions, include in self-description. For example, I heard that your friend says that you are bad temper, you are happy-go-lucky, you are funny. So they start to include all the emotional terms and psychological trait into themselves in describing uh, about self-understanding. Dia dah mula memasukkan ciri-ciri psikologi, ciri-ciri emosi untuk menerangkan, describe themselves. Okay, next, moral development. So moral development is a development that involves thought, involve feelings and behaviors regarding rules and convention about what people should do in their interaction with other people. Jadi moral, we are talking about the value of other person. Okay, so when we say someone have a moral values, someone don't have a moral values, someone have a very high moral values, these children have a low moral values. So moral values or moral development refer to how that person thought, and how their feelings and how their behavior. Okay, looking at someone on the roadside, okay, so their thinking actually represent their moral. Their behaviors towards the person who on the roadside is a moral value. The feelings towards people on the roadside is a moral. Okay, moral reasoning. How children think about moral issues was stimulated by Piaget. Piaget extensively observed and interviewed children from the age of 4 through 12 and concluded that children go through two distinct stages in how they think and develop their moral. So according to Jean Piaget, there are two stages children go through in order for them developing their moral values. So number one is heteronomous morality, autonomous morality. Okay, the first is heteronomous morality, and secondly is autonomous morality. So what is heteronomous morality? The first stage of moral development in Piaget theory, occurring from approximately 4 to 7 years of age. Justice and rules are conceived as unchangeable properties of the world, removed from the control of people. From 7 to 10 years of age, children are in a transition showing some features of the first stage of moral reasoning and some stage of the second stage, autonomous morality. So according to Jean Piaget, so heteronomous normally happened around the age of 4 to 7 years old. Okay, so heteronomous, justice and rules, they conceive, they understand what is justice and about rules, okay, which is unchangeable. Okay, whenever talk about rules, when we talk about justice, it is unchangeable, and this is happen by the age, or they understand this, they reach this stage by the age of 4 to 7, and sometimes after age 7 to 10 they might too understand another concept of moral, which is autonomous. Autonomous in Piaget's theory displayed by all the children is about 10 years of age and older. The child becomes aware that rules and law are created by people, and that In judging an action, one should consider the actor's intention as well as the consequences. Because young children are heteronomous moralists, they tend to believe in immanent justice, the concept that if a rule is broken, punishment will be meted out immediately. Okay, so autonomous is more advanced compared to heteronomous because in autonomous, children's able to think and able to aware that the rules or the law are created by whom? By people. Okay, so in order to judge the action of someone else, they need to consider the intention, why they are doing such thing. So they're able to understand the reason behind, okay, why they do such actions and what going to be the consequences. But if you compare to heteronomous morality, they understand that rules and regulation is unchangeable, is permanent. So I mean, if someone breaking the rules, they need to be punished immediately. There is no considerable of their intention, why they are doing that things. For example, stealing. We take one example. Stealing food. Okay. One children's been caught stealing food in a canteen, for example. Stealing food of their friends. Kenapa dia mencuri? Mencuri ni salah lah kalau untuk heteronomous morality. Okay, the first stage ni. So kanak-kanak faham yang okay, Ali curi makanan. Salah. Right? It's wrong. So it means Ali need to be punished. Tapi kalau pemikiran autonomous morality, so they will consider why Ali is stealing the food. Okay? Maybe Ali is hungry, starving. Okay? Ali don't have money. And maybe dia tak ada niat nak steal. They just feel very hungry. And the act of stealing, because of the intention is starving, so tak perlulah Ali itu dihukum. Ini autonomous morality, which is more advanced compared to heteronomous morality. So the way children think is more advanced in autonomous compared to heteronomous morality. So that is about moral development. How children develop their moral values. How they develop the feeling of others, the judgment about other people, the thinking of other people, and how they react, their behavior towards other people. So that is about moral development. Next, conscience. Conscience is an internal regulation of standard of right or wrong that involve an integration of moral thought, feelings, and behavior. Researchers have found that young children are aware of right and wrong, have the capacity to show empathy towards others, experience guilt, indicate discomfort following a transgression, and are sensitive to violating rules. Young children's conscience focuses on the children's relationship with their caregiver. So apa tu conscience? So kalau kita tengok dekat diagram sini, dekat ataupun illustration sini, dia adalah gabungan. Okay. Gabungan daripada sifat empathy, daripada self conscious emotions, daripada moral reasoning. Dia adalah internal regulation, kesedaran kendirian, kurang macam itulah. Apa dalam bahasa Melayu? Boleh cari apa maksud conscience. So according to this definition, conscience is internal regulation of standard of right and wrong. So kesedaran kendiri lah, apa yang betul, apa yang tak betul, apa yang baik, apa yang tak baik. So bagaimana dia dapat kesedaran kendiri berkenaan dengan sesuatu itu adalah baik ataupun tak baik, adalah because of integration, gabungan daripada perasaan, behavior dan juga moral thought. So dia ada this kita panggil awareness, conscience, okay, untuk membuat decision ataupun untuk buat judgement yang betul. So ini adalah satu combination, partly from moral, partly from empathy, okay, partly from self-conscious emotions. Okay. Next is families. Families refer to siapa families? Keluarga ataupun penjaga ataupun orang yang berada di sekeliling kanak-kanak. Families not only consists of father and mother. Of course, primarily, mainly is referred to mother and father. That is families. Mother, father, siblings. Okay, itulah keluarga. A simple family. Bigger family, dia ada tambahan grandmother, grandfather, uncle, aunties. But basically, when we talk about families, we are referred to parents, father and mother. If their parent is no longer around, so penjaga tu di consider as a families lah. Sama ada penjaga tu adalah makcik ataupun pakcik ataupun atuk dan nenek. Sebab tu dalam kita filling up form kolektif orang, dia akan tulis ibu bapa / penjaga. Bukan semua orang masih lagi memiliki ibu dan bapa. Okay, when we talk about families, okay, families are responsible in shaping children's emotions, children's social, and children's interaction or children's morals. So, dalam topik early childhood ada 4 jenis parenting style. Adapun 4 jenis parenting. There are 4 type of parentings. The first one is authoritarian parenting. Second is authoritative parenting, and then neglectful parenting and indulgent parenting. So there are differences between these 4. So sometimes different type of parentings give a different result, different consequences on children's development, especially on emotions and social. So let us look number 1. The first one is authoritarian. So what is authoritarian? A strict, punitive style in which parents exhort the child to follow their direction and to respect their work and effort. The authoritarian parents place firm limits and control on the children and allows little verbal exchange. Authoritarian parenting is associated with the children's social incompetence. Authoritarian, kita boleh dapat idea lah from the words authority. Okay, So authoritarian ni adalah cara ataupun kaedah didikan ataupun penjagaan kanak-kanak yang restrict, punitive style. Restrict means ada banyak rules, ada banyak do and don'ts. Ada banyak kalau jalan tu dia ada banyak roadblock. Sini kena roadblock, simpang sana ada roadblock, masuk sebelum kedai runcit ada roadblock, nak keluar rumah pun ada roadblock. Means ada checking. Check satu, check sini, check. So dalam keluarga tu, kalau kanak-kanak dibesarkan dalam environment authoritative parenting, dia ada banyak rules and regulation dan dia ada banyak punishment. Okay, bangun pukul berapa? Okay, mandi, shampoo ke tak shampoo? Kalau tak shampoo, ini hukuman dia. Okay, gosok gigi, hukuman macam ni hukuman dia. Pakai baju matching ke tak matching? Kalau tak matching, ini hukuman dia. Itu hukuman. Sebanyaklah. So authoritarian parenting, so usually they impose a lot of rules and regulation. Okay, and then children have to follow the direction of the rules. Dia kena ikut. Dia ada dia punya pathway dah. Kalau nak belajar, okay, macam ni cara dia. Okay, mesti follow. Dia tidak fleksibel. Kemudian ada banyak law atau rules being imposed, and kalau tak follow, kalau break that rules, ready lah menerima hukuman, punitive. Kemudian authoritarian parents firm limits control on the child and allow little verbal exchange. Nak bincang, nak negotiate, tak ada peluang, sangat tipis. Sebab untuk authoritarian parenting, okay, yang terbaik adalah ikut je. Apa bapa mama cakap, ikut. Nak question, tak boleh. Listen. Kenapa tak boleh? Jangan tanya. This is what been decided. Dah ditentukan. Okay, ini kita panggil authoritarian parenting. Okay, yang kedua, authoritative parenting. Dia ada perbezaan. A parenting style in which parents encourage, the words here, parents encourage their children to be independent but still place limits and control on their actions. Extensive verbal give and take is allowed. Maknanya boleh lagi give and take. Boleh bincang. Dibenarkanlah kalau nak question. Okay, ada apa-apa soalan? Means dia ada lagi sesi negotiation. Kalau yang authoritarian, tak boleh discuss lah, tak boleh bincang-bincang lah. What been decided is decided. When mama say A, there is no A minus K. A tolak ke A tambah, tak ada. A is A, B, there is no other than A. Kalau authoritarian, boleh lagi. Alright, ada give and take lagi. Kalau mama kata tidur pukul 10, 10 suku ke boleh lagi, 10.30 boleh bincang lagi. Kalau authoritarian 10, 1 minit dah kira melanggar peraturan. Okay, dah boleh dihukum, tak boleh bincang lah. Authoritative parents boleh, masih ada lagi verbal and give and take. And parents are warm and nurturing towards the child. Parents biasanya kuranglah garang, kuranglah strict. Dia biasanya warm. Warm ni selesa, tenang, alright. Dia lebih pada untuk mendidik. Dia okey. Means in general kita nampak authoritative parents ni yang pleasant, yang boleh buat bincang, yang understanding, yang approachable, talkable, discussable. Authoritative parenting is associated with children's social competence. Jadi pada parents yang apply authoritative parenting style, jadi kanak-kanak yang dibesarkan dalam environment authoritative, dari aspek sosialnya dia akan jadi competence. Bagus. Okay, sosialnya jadi bagus, relationshipnya jadi bagus. Okay, kalau authoritative parent, dia punya sosial, perkembangan sosial kanak-kanak jadi incompetence, tak bagus. Tak boleh berdikari, tak boleh memahami perasaan orang lain. Sebagaimana dia menerima layanan daripada parents about strict, begitulah juga dia berinteraksi dengan kanak-kanak lain strict. Okay, tidak ada give and take, tidak ada forgiveness, which is on authoritative parenting style are more competence. Okay, more warm, more give and take. And then next is neglectful parenting. What is neglectful parenting? Neglect. A style of parenting in which the parent is very uninvolved in child's life. It is associated with the children's social incompetence, especially lack of self-control. Neglect means parents yang tak kisah, tak acuh, lantak dah nak jadi apa. Means kurang involvement of parents. Okay. So keywords dia adalah uninvolved. Kurang ambil tahu tentang kehidupan, tentang anak-anak. So children have a social incompetence, especially lack of self-control. Dia dari segi sosial pun tak bagus lah. Tak bagus in term of behavior dia atau perangai dia, lack of control. Tidak dimonitor. Lenient. Bila dah terlalu lenient, maksudnya parents pun tak aware, tak tahu. Anak encik ni dah 3 bulan tak ada buku. Ya ke tak ada buku? Dia pun tak sedar anak tak ada buku lah. Dia tak sedar anak dia luka ke. Dia tak sedar anak dia apa. Means because they are neglectful parenting. And then next is the last part is indulgent parenting. What is indulgent? A style of parenting in which parents are highly involved with their children but place few demands or control on them. Indulgent parenting is associated with the children's social incompetence, especially a lack of self-control. Yang tadi ni memang tak ambil kisah. Yang ni kisah. Alright, dia ambil tahu. Dia involve. Okay. Tapi place less control, few control. Means dia aware, tapi dia memang purposely tak nak control. Okay. They know. Kalau ni memang tak tahulah, neglectful. Ni memang tahu, tapi memang tak nak impose any rules. Dia tahu dia berada bersama dengan children, anak dia tidur pukul 12. Dia tahu, dia biarkan je. Pukul 12 pun, pukul 1 pun biarkan saja. Alright. Anak-anak enjoy movie, biarkan saja. Sampai 2-3 pagi. Nak main game, biarkan saja. Okay. Indulgent. So there are 4 types of parenting style: indulgent parenting, neglectful parenting, and then we have authoritative parenting as authoritarian parenting. You can make a comparison between these 4. Which one is good in what sense? Which one is bad in what sense? And overall, which one is better? and which style we can put in application, put in practical when we become a parents one day. Or currently, which style that we are imposing to the children, and look at the impact, look at the consequences on their emotions. Okay, sometimes we are in a state of, apa kita panggil lah, kita tahu tapi kita tak nak ubah. Okay, kita tahu tapi kita nak ubah. Kita tahu apa kita buat tu salah, kita tahu yang kita buat tu tak betul, tapi kita tak nak ubah. So, if we see that our approach is not good, not practical, so we could change, right? Make it better. Okay, next, punishment. Punishment such as spanking has been considered as a necessary and even desirable method of disciplining children. An increasing number of studies have examined the outcome of physical punishing children, although those that have been conducted are correlational. In the end, punishment tend to change the children to become feared, and the excess use of punishment may cause high chances for a child abuse, either physical abuse or mentally abuse. Punishment ni objektifnya adalah untuk berubah, untuk change, untuk modify children's bad behavior. So, of course, benda ni you have to look in thoroughly. There are some punishment which is workable and some punishment yang could lead to abuse. Sama ada punishment dari segi physical ataupun dari segi mental. Alright, next, child maltreatment. Okay, dari jenis-jenis child maltreatment. Okay, first is physical abuse, child neglect, sexual abuse, and emotional abuse. So, physical abuse refer kepada penderaan fizikal. Kita boleh tengok lah tangan dia, telinga dia, kaki dia, ada berlaku kecederaan. It's characterized by the infliction of physical injury as a result of punching, beating, kicking, biting, burning, shaking, or otherwise harming a child. The injury may have resulted from excessive physical punishment. Ada kesan-kesan lah, kesan rotan ke, kesan bakar, kesan gigit, kesan sebat, kesan jerut. Ini semua adalah physical abuse, penderaan physical. Next is child neglect. It's characterized by failure to provide the child basic needs. Neglect can be physical, abandon, for example. Educational, allowing chronic truancy, for example. Emotional, marked an intention of the child needs, for example. Kanak-kanak terbiar yang dibiarkan, okay, ditinggalkan, sehingga tidak dapat keperluan asas seperti makanan, tempat tinggal, pakaian. Ini keperluan asas yang diperlukan secara asasi. Apa yang perlu asasi? Makanan. Ada yang kelaparan, okay, tak makan, tak minum, ataupun tidak ada pakaian, baju yang sama dipakai selama seminggu, sebulan, baju hanya ada 2 helai. Ini keperluan asas. Perlindungan. Okay, tak ada ubat-ubatan yang asas kalau berlaku luka ke, okay, tidak mandi. Ini semua keperluan asas. Termasuk juga education, pendidikan. So, dalam Kementerian Pendidikan Malaysia, kanak-kanak mesti bersekolah. Dia tak ada kanak-kanak yang walaupun ada masalah penempatan, ya, Kementerian Pendidikan akan pastikan kanak-kanak tidak bersekolah lebih daripada seminggu. Tak paling lama dah tu. So, normally mana-mana kalau pergi PPD, Pejabat Pendidikan Daerah, ada masalah penukaran sekolah ke. So biasanya akan mudah. Sebab pendidikan ni adalah basic, asas, keperluan asas children. So ada parents yang tak kisah, anak dah sebulan tak datang sekolah. So ni child neglect lah. Kemudian sexual abuse include funding a child genitals intercourse, incest, rape, sodomy, exhibitionism, and commercial exploitation through prostitution or the production of pornographic materials. Ini sexual abuse. Sexual abuse tidak sahaja melibatkan proses sexual intercourse pada kanak-kanak, tapi juga kalau kita exposekan kanak-kanak gambar, okay, untuk pornographic materials juga adalah dipanggil sexual abuse, penderaan seksual. And number 4 is emotional abuse, psychological or verbal abuse, mental injury. So penderaan emosi. Apa tu penderaan emosi? Include the act of omission by parents or other caregiver that have caused and could cause serious behavior or cognitive or emotional problems. Satu perilaku apa-apa sahaja yang boleh menyebabkan emotional problems, masalah emosi, masalah kognitif, masalah behavior, itu juga dikategorikan sebagai penderaan emosi. Ini semua adalah child maltreatment. Okay, kanak-kanak yang tidak mendapat penjagaan yang baik, yang menyebabkan mereka terdedah kepada penderaan-penderaan inilah. Penderaan emosi, penderaan seksual, penderaan fizikal, dan juga yang terbiar. Next is peer relations, play, and television. Play. Play is a pleasurable activity in which children engage for its own sake and its function and form of vary. Bermain ni kanak-kanak yang melibatkan aktiviti fizikal, aktiviti emosi, sama ada is a free play ataupun structured play. So there are function of play. Apakah fungsi-fungsi permainan ataupun bermain? Play helps children master anxieties and conflicts. Because tension are relieved in play, children can cope with life problems. Bermain ni adalah salah satu kaedah mengawal ataupun menguasai konflik. Bila kanak-kanak bermain, dia belajar, dia bergaduh, dan dia berbincang, dia berinteraksi, dia selesaikan pertelingkahan. Anxieties, ada satu perasaan negatif, perasaan gusar, gelisah. Bila kanak-kanak bermain, hilang perasaan gelisah, perasaan tidak yakin. Okay, so play number 1 is a medium of children's relief all the anxieties and conflict and tension. Number 2, play permits children to work off excess physical energy and to release pent-up tension. Therapists use play therapy both to allow children to work off frustration and to analyze children's conflict and ways of coping with them. Even therapists pun menggunakan kaedah play. Okay, untuk apa? Untuk work with frustration. Okay, untuk analyze conflicts and macam mana nak cope dengan perkara-perkara tersebut adalah through play therapist. Dia ada macam-macam teknik lah yang digunakan oleh terapi. Sometimes dia guna art therapy, color therapy. So untuk children, dia ada satu kaedah dipanggil play therapy. Dia bermain ni adalah satu terapi. That's why ada sometimes kita katakan, nak main game lah, game ni terapi, stress nak release. Yes, kalau berada dalam keadaan yang control condition, dia akan jadi terapi lah. Boleh, bermain game boleh jadi terapi, ketawa boleh jadi terapi, tapi dalam keadaan yang dikawal, dimonitor. Okay? Oleh orang yang pakar, dia akan jadi terapi. Kalau self therapy ni, masalah dia kita tak mampu nak monitor. At the end, dia tak jadi terapi, dia jadi addiction. Dia dah jadi ketagihan. Okay, next. Play also an important context for cognitive development. Piaget and Vygotsky concluded that play is child works. Play permits children to practice their competency and acquire skills in a relaxed and pleasurable way. Jadi, bermain ini juga adalah sangat penting untuk perkembangan kognitif. Kerana according to Piaget juga Vygotsky, dua orang scholar yang mengkaji tentang kognitif, membuat kesimpulan bahawa, alright, permainan, bila kanak-kanak bermain, sebenarnya mereka sedang melatih ataupun berlatih perkembangan kognitif dan menjadikan this process become competencies. Maknanya dia akan lebih bertambah kemahiran, sebab dia berlaku secara natural, dia bukan dipaksa. Okay, kanak-kanak akan rasa seronok, rasa riang pada masa yang sama dia mempelajari sesuatu. That's why dia ada satu konsep dalam early child kita panggil learn through play. Biasa kan kita dengar dalam child-centered program, learn through play. Kanak-kanak belajar lebih efektif bila dia bermain. Jadi macam mana nak pastikan setiap pembelajaran ni menyeronokkan? Seronok sentiasa dikaitkan dengan words play. Mainlah seronok. Dalam kelas tak seronok. Kalau kita bagi option, belajar duduk dalam kelas dengan main. Mainlah seronok. Main selalunya dikaitkan dengan pleasure. Okay? Jadi dunia kanak-kanaknya dunia bermain. Jadi kita pun boleh jadi seronok dengan bermain. Cuma of course, okay, bila melibatkan suatu pembelajaran yang melibatkan high thinking order, so bermain can be your distraction. So tak boleh samakan kanak-kanak levelnya dengan dewasa. Okay, but most of the time play is the world of child. That's why kita pun panggil playground. Okay, kindergarten. So they are surrounded by playing. Okay, type of play. Dari beberapa jenis yang boleh stimulate certain apa kita panggil development. Number one is sensory motor play. Number two is practice play, and then pretense or symbolic play. Behavior engaged in infants to derive pleasure from exercising their existing sensory schemas. For example, at 9 months of age, infants begin to select novel objects for exploration and play, especially responsive objects such as toys that make noise or bounce. Okay, ini kita panggil sensory motor. So, berlaku pada awal usia. Okay, awal usia infancy itu kita panggil sensory play lah. Okay. Number two is sensory ni lebih pada exercise dia punya sensory dan dia punya motor, senses. Number two is practice play. Practice play that involve repetitive of behavior when new skills are being learned. Play that involve repetitive of behavior when new skills are being learned, or when physical or mental mastery and coordination of skills are required for game and sport. Practice play can be engaged throughout life. Practice play maknanya dia bermain dalam usaha untuk practice. For example, menendang bola. Dia main. Tapi kita nak dia main lebih lama ataupun lebih kerap dia main, maka lebih uh, lebih tepat, lebih betul sepakan. So caranya adalah main bola. So bila dia main bola, so kemahirannya bertambah. Okay, kemahiran dribbling, kemahiran shooting, kemahiran chopping. So teknik ni dimahirkan dengan bermain. So itu panggil practice play. Kemudian kita ada pretense or symbolic play. Play in which the child transform the physical environment into symbol. Between 9 to 30 months of age, children increase their use of object in symbolic play. They learn to transform object, substituting from other object and acting towards them as if they were this other object. This type of make-believe play often appear about 18 months of age and reaches a peak 4 to 5 years of age, then gradually decline. Pretense. Macam apa? Dia put into symbol lah. Biasanya kita tengok dalam awal kanak-kanak yang main pondok-pondok masa-masa itu pretense lah. Symbolic play. Ni jadi pengantin lelaki, jadi pengantin perempuan. Dua-dua tu perempuan pun. Okay. Kemudian masak-masak lah, daun-daun, ranting-ranting kayu. Itu symbolic pretense play. So ini jenis-jenis play. Dan sometimes this happen standardized. You go all around the world, they are applying this pretense play. Okay. Pada awal usia. Okay. So dijadikan satu objek itu sebagai simbol. Simbol yang mewakili fikiran dia. Kadang dia ambil satu objek apa, dekat ada je depan mata tu dijadikan kereta. Okay, kadang-kadang sikat rambut tu dijadikan sebagai mikrofon. So that is pretense ataupun symbolic play. And then social play, constructive play and game. Social play ni apa? Play that involves social interaction. Okay, yang melibatkan kawan lain beramai-ramai. Social play include varied interchange such as turn taking, conversation, numerous topic, social games and routine, and physical play. Social play yang melibatkan interaksi sosial, yang perlu ada komunikasi, interaction between one children to another children. Bermain dengan orang lain selain daripada keluarga, tu lebih berlaku interaction. And then constructive play, play that combines sensory, motor and repetitive activity with symbolic representation of ideas. Constructive play occurs when children engage in self-regulated creation or construction of a product or solution. Constructive play biasanya adalah satu kondisi yang dikawal, yang dimonitor. Katakan dalam playtime. Playtime itu salah satu contoh constructive play. Okay, satu aktiviti yang ada dia punya lesson. Itu kita panggil ada lesson plan. Dalam prasekolah kita biasa, okay, familiar with this term, lesson plan. So sebelum kita buat satu aktiviti, kita kena prepare lesson plan. Dia adalah dia punya objektif, dia punya timeline dia, apa dia punya outcome dia, apa material dia. Walaupun kita tengok cuma aktiviti simple exercise. Katakan PE time ada setengah jam. Ada lesson dia tu. Ada dia punya lesson plan. Recorded. Achieve ke tak achieve. So constructive play adalah activities which been conducted and activities which been planned. Yang ada lesson lah. Kita kena constructive plan. Constructive play. And then games. Games activity engage in for pleasure that include rules and often a competition which one or more individuals. Di dalam bentuk games, pertandingan. Dia adalah pertandingan apa? Okay. Hari ni, dulu orang main game saja-saja. Online game kan? Online game ni orang main saja. Hari ni, online game, dia sampai peringkat dah established tu, dia jadikan pertandingan. Dia ada peringkat gamers, peringkat dunia. Wakil Malaysia lah, wakil negeri lah, wakil daerah. Okay. Ada wakil kelab. Sekarang ada channel khas kan? It's true. Pasal game je. Dulu tak ada. Dia main game ni, dia salah satu aktiviti yang tak berfaedah. Tapi bila dijadikan dia adalah satu pertandingan, dia ada sponsor, dia dikawal selia, okay, ada prize, ada rules, so dia jadi satu pertandingan yang menguntungkan. Sometimes dia jadi kerjaya. Alright, dia bukan sahaja aktiviti masa lapang, tetapi dia jadi career. Sama juga main bola. Kalau main bola petang-petang tu, dia jadi social play. Tapi kalau main bola mewakili sekolah, tu jadi games, jadi pertandingan. So dapat recognition, dapat sijil. So sijil tu mewakili aktiviti kurikulum yang boleh bantu dia untuk dapatkan scholarship, for example. So that is games. Okay. So next is television. The effect of television. The effect of television of children's aggression. Dia ada kesan television kepada aggression of the children. The extent to which children are exposed to violence and aggression on television series of special concern. Ini adalah rancangan-rancangan yang bersifat ganas, yang dibiarkan kanak-kanak menonton tanpa pemantauan. That's why ada Kementerian Multimedia dan Komunikasi dikategorikan kan rancangan ni 18 SG ke. Kalau you tu umum, sesuai ditonton oleh semua lapisan masyarakat. Ada cerita-cerita yang tak sesuai ditonton. Termasuk juga kartun. Bukan semua kartun sesuai ditonton oleh kanak-kanak ya. Hari ini kartun dah ada kategori kartun orang dewasa. So jangan salah. So that's why kita kena pantau, tak boleh jadi seperti neglectful parenting. Kita asal tengok kartun je, kita bagi kanak tengok. Kita tak tahu kartun yang dia tengok tu adalah kartun orang dewasa. Dia memang lagi-lagi anime kan. Hari ni advance dah. So orang dewasa pun sometimes dah tak tengok dah cerita ni. Dia tengok cerita kartun je. Okay. So violence, aggression ni ada kata dengan television. Hari ni dulu television lah, but today's medium untuk melihat, menonton, bukan sahaja television. Dulu kena ada television baru boleh tengok. Hari ni tak ada television. Orang jarang tengok television. Semuanya ada television di mana-mana di dalam poket. Television dalam poket. Itu kita panggil smartphone gadget, which you can watch anytime, any place, no limitation. The preschool children who have seen the TV cartoon shows with violent kick, chalk, push playmates more than their preschool children who watch non-violent TV cartoon shows. Exposed to TV violence caused the increased aggression in the children in this investigation. Ini violence ataupun aggression, jenayah. So kalau dikaji di peringkat kanak-kanak juvana ni adalah pengaruh daripada television. Ataupun apakah rancangan, apakah channel yang disubscribe. Next is effect of television on children's pro-social behavior. Television also can teach children that it's better to behave in positive, pro-social ways than in negative and anti-social ways. Researchers have found that when children watch positive social interchange, in which children are taught how to use social skills on the TV, they subsequently are likely to imitate this positive social behavior. Ini pengaruh-pengaruh television dalam perkembangan sosial kanak-kanak. Okay? So, saya rasa itu sahaja for today. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum and bye-bye.